I always tell the truth, except sometimes I lie to save a life. Because you see, I'm a private investigator, and that's really what I do, and it's really my profession. Right now I work on civil rights cases, but when I was younger, I did anything because my kids needed to go to school and I needed to feed them, so I did any case that was out there. I remember one particular time, a long time ago, a mother called me and said that her husband, a very abusive, physically abusive, large, angry man, had stolen their 9-year-old son, Johnny. And she was scared. She was scared that Johnny would be hurt. So of course, I'm a mom, I go out there immediately. I kiss my kids goodbye, kiss my husband goodbye, and I go out on the job. I know that Johnny has 2 uncles. His dad is the youngest, and his Uncle Phil is the oldest, and he has an aunt also, and she's in the middle. So I go to the aunt's house, because I figure the brother and sister who are very close might know where Johnny is. And I'm really successful at the sister's house, not in finding Johnny. I don't find him at all. But she starts talking about her brother and how her brothers are really close and they're bonded at the hip, and if one does something, the other knows about it. So I have to find the other brother. And that's how I find myself the following evening knocking on the other brother's door, because you see, I have a blind date. I have a blind date with the oldest brother. Now that's not too bad. So I kiss my husband and my kids goodbye and I go out to work again. And I get to the door and I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but I'm an invited guest. I've used a little bit of a lie. I'm kind of faking who I am, but it's for a good cause. So I knock on the door and the smells coming from the house are so amazing. This man is a gourmet cook. I'm going to have dinner, and he's cooking dinner, and I'm going to talk to him. So I go in, I'm sitting at the counter, we're getting to know each other, I'm drinking a glass of wine, and the smells wafting from the oven are amazing. And I try to direct the conversation, but he says, no, 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 no. Let me tell you how I made this. Let me show you my culinary skills. And we sit down at the table. I'm salivating thinking about this. It was so good. Oh my God. It was really hard to get the conversation to little Johnny when I was stuffing my mouth with food, but I did it, okay? And just as I thought he was going to tell me something, he says, hold that thought. It's time for dessert. Well, I'm thrilled, okay? I can hold that thought because I'm smelling peach cobbler, and it's homemade. And then I hear the grinder of the coffee, and he starts grinding real coffee, and I smell it coming out of the kitchen. I'm in heaven. This has been a really tough job. I mean, and maybe I'm going to find a kid while I'm at it. I don't know. He sits down at the table, and as I shovel cobbler into my mouth, he says, let me tell you, where were we in our conversation? And now I have to talk to him, right? But my mouth is full of food. So I grab the coffee and I swill it down and just a second. So I take another swig of the coffee and I'm getting hot. Oh my God, I can't talk. I've been poisoned. And I faint. And I wake up leaning against the table on the ground. Someone has loosened my collar. I'm soaking wet from sweat. My throat hurts like crazy. And there's a little boy standing over me with a pitcher of water, which he dumps on my head to wake me up. It worked. As I hear him say, Uncle Phil, I think that you ground the peppers for last night's pizza in the same coffee grinder. And I realized I wasn't poisoned on purpose, as Uncle Phil says. Johnny, put the picture away, run upstairs, and he comes over and he says, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Can we have dinner again tomorrow night? You're really nice. And we were just getting into conversation. And I looked up and I said, I don't think so. I think I have to go home. Because you see, I had totally ruined my vocal cords. I had swallowed an entire thing of hot pepper flakes. I thanked him as best I could. And I got in the car and I drove away. And I got to the corner and I called the police and I said, there is a missing child and this is where he is. And I reported the child because Johnny was the one who had revived me. And then I called the mom and I said, I found your son and he's okay and this is where he is and the police will have him in a few minutes. I got paid very well for my work. I couldn't speak or swallow for 3 weeks, but it was all worth it.